everybody. Welcome to Capital of Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to preview this Saturday's Showtime Championship boxing card, which has 4 fights on it. We've got Gerald Washington versus Gerald Miller. We've got Rashid Warren versus McJoe Arroyo. I got the right one, right?
Yeah.
Yep, because then there's McWilliams. Anyway. Then we've got... Who's the third fight again? Oh, Jorge Sebastian Highland versus Jamal Charlo in Charlo's first fight at middleweight. Then we got the main event that we all know about, Mikey Garcia, Adrien Broner. So, we're going to go from the bottom up. Take it away, Rob.
All right, so with this one, we're actually going to start with the Warren Arroyo fight. This is a IBF Eliminator. I believe that is the title that Warren lost to Zaniakov.
Good luck pronouncing that one again.
Yeah.
Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah.
There you go.
They lost in, if I'm not mistaken, it's either majority decision or split decision. It was a very close fight. Both guys looked good, and both guys didn't quite look so good at the same time. It was just a very competitive fight. In this fight, Rashid Warren is trying to get back into the title contention against a tough Puerto Rican fighter in McJoe Arroyo, who lost recently. He's 17-1. He lost recently to a Jerwin Ancajas, who just fought on ESPN.
The Pacquiao horn card.
Yeah, the Pacquiao horn card on ESPN when he beat, can't remember the first name, but the last name is Kina Shita, to defend
that title.
Defend his title. So, it's a lot going on. It should be a good fight. Rashid Warren is extremely athletic. It's very fast. Fights out of that southpaw stance.
So does Arroyo.
And so does Arroyo. So we're getting 2 high-quality southpaws. The only thing is, can Rashid Warren maintain a work rate in this fight? Because we know he can box, but he doesn't really have the power to knock anyone out, especially the tougher fighters like, again, Zaniakov,
the Tasmanian Devil.
The Tasmanian Devil and McJoe Arroyo. McJoe Arroyo, who, not being very fast, has to catch Rashid Warren, but I think that shouldn't be too difficult because Rashid Warren can definitely be hit.
Yes, he can. And also, as the rounds progress, he starts to slow down. So that is where I see Arroyo starting to come on in those later rounds after probably giving away the first 4 to 5 rounds, because he'll be outsped and outmaneuvered because, like Rob said, very fast hands, very good feet, but he is there to be hit. So Arroyo can get 1 or 2 shots in between those volleys of Warren, and then by those late rounds, if he's especially concentrating on the body, make it a very interesting fight late. Kind of like what the Tasmanian Devil did when he fought Warren, because Warren knocked him down, twice?
Yeah.
And still ended up losing the fight for those reasons I just mentioned. So that's what we're looking for in that one. Can Warren sustain the momentum that he creates early on in the fight to hold on for a victory? Because right now it's looking like if he gets in with those tough guys, they can wear him down and come back on the scorecards.
That's right.
Because that's pretty much been the story of his career so far as a pro. Like, all of his championship fights, he's had to, he gets out to a big lead, the guy comes back, and he has to scratch and claw his way to a win.
And he definitely, that's how he split those 2 fights with Payano,
right?
Which were pretty foul-filled fights, but that's neither here nor there. He's got to fight the entire fight. He can't really get tired. He can't be lulled into a false sense of security, and he can't really afford to take rounds off, especially put himself against the ropes. That's where the Tasmanian Devil actually succeeded by pushing him against the ropes. When Warren was able to move, he was able to make him reset, landed well, but when he stopped, that just gave him, Tasmanian Devil, ZZ, however you want to say it, coming from that high guard, a target. A stationary target.
And I believe Arroyo will have those same chances. Whether that he can capitalize on them remains to be seen. So I'm seeing another close fight. I'm not sure how it's going to go as far as winner, but that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Warren, Arroyo closes in. We don't know how they finish. Next fight on the docket. Go ahead.
We got the heavyweights. Gerald Big Baby Miller versus Gerald El Gallo Negro Washington. These are two huge men that's about to step into the ring. Miller is, I want to say, roughly 6'3", 6'4", and probably close to 300 pounds, if not 300 pounds. He is a big hombre, very bulky, very powerful, not really athletic, decent skill, but he's always going to come forward.
Right.
Then we have Gerald Washington, who is ex-football player, about 6'5", 6'6", pretty decent boxer, prefers to fight from the outside, stay out of trouble, not blow his load to say. He likes to be very measured in how he boxes. You saw him, he had a very good fight, very good outing before being caught by one of those bombs against Deontay Wilder. Now, he really didn't take a lot of damage. It was just kind of one of those things, he got hit, hurt, and instead of waiting for him to be destroyed, the referee said, we've seen enough of this, let's go ahead and stop this fight.
Yeah, it's like we've seen people hit by Deontay Wilder, we know what happened, so we're just gonna go ahead and cut this short. But that's kind of not fair to Washington. But it kind of is fair to Washington because, like we said, the last guy that Wilder fought before that was carried out on a stretcher and didn't fight for almost 2 years. So, you know, the ref probably had that in his mind. But what if he came back? Maybe he could have, maybe he couldn't have. But in the past, can't change it. Right now, he has a big opportunity on premium television to show that he belongs in the top of the conversation.
That's right.
So he has to do what he did against Wilder, just do it for longer and not get caught. The only problem is when he was fighting Wilder, he was fighting somebody who was kind of hesitant, who was just coming off of surgery, who really didn't have his time in there. Against Miller, he's going against somebody who's going to come at him like a savage.
Yeah, Miller's going to be very aggressive in this fight because he wants to make a point. He wants to get into the picture to challenge for a title. And we know that the titles right now are Joshua, Wilder, and Parker.
Yes.
And with that being said, Washington, again, like the Wilder fight, has to move. This is one of those fights where he's better equipped and it will work in his favor to fight from the outside. Not necessarily pot shot because that's not going to work against Miller. That may work against Wilder because he doesn't have the strongest of chins, but Miller is very tough. He actually fought in kickboxing before getting into boxing. So what he wants to do, he wants to blind him with that jab. He needs to lay the hammer because he's got to get Miller's respect early.
Yeah, because otherwise he will get steamrolled. And we kind of saw that in the Spilka Gonaki fight a couple weeks ago. Last week? No, week before last.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, where you got a guy who had some slickness and was trying to use it. And the other guy's like, I don't care. I'm going to hurt you. And that's kind of what this fight's going to look like unless Washington can do some things like, if he can turn Miller into counters, he might wear him down. Because like we said, Miller's a big boy. So if he can turn him, use some straights to the body, straight jabs, straight right hands, cut off, then hook over the side at an angle rather than staying right in front of Miller, he's got a good chance of lasting a while in this fight. But if he just moves laterally, not laterally, but back horizontally or just walks forward, we in for a short night for him.
Now, if I'm Miller, I gotta cut off the ring. He doesn't have the fastest feet. He's not the most athletic. But what he can make up for is trapping Washington. He wants to make the ring as small as possible for a guy who wants to have as much space as possible.
Right. Get him ball bull style. You know, I might be showing my age, but those of you who remember Mike Tyson Punch Out, just charge him, just like ball bull, and just get him with that good old uppercut. So, honestly, I don't think Washington will be able to hold him off for the full duration, and I do think Miller gets to him. What do you think?
I'm I'm actually not sure because we really haven't seen Miller challenge so much.
Right.
But in the fight, and I can't think of who he fought. I want to say, not Tepper. Tor Hamer. I want to say that's what it was. He was able to get to Miller. He showed very good slickness and he showed a little bit of pop. The problem was Miller could take those punches and dish back twice as much. And he didn't have the athleticism to really get away. And he was also much smaller than Miller. So doing that same thing with some size might be the difference. But then you have to then look at their temperament. One is savage, one is more measured, and we have to see which one is going to prevail. Can Gerald Watson stay focused?
Right.
Or can Gerald Miller say, F that?
Right. It's got to temper the savagery. Otherwise, like I said, it's going to get ugly quick. And that's how I think it's going to happen. I think maybe about 4 rounds, this is done.
Yeah, we'll know, I think, like you said, about 3 or 4 rounds, what's going to happen, if not end.
Yeah, that's what I said. By 3 or 4 rounds, we're gonna be like, yup, here comes the savagery. So we'll see come fight night if that happens. Next up, take it away.
Jamal Charlo versus Jorge Sebastian Hyland.
Yeah, this is for the #1 contender to the WBC title, correct?
That is correct. And the WBC title is had by
Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
That's right. So Jamal Charlo, last time we saw him, he knocked Julian Williams' face off.
Oh boy, did he.
Now he's going up against a guy out of Argentina in Hyland who hasn't really had the best competition. And that could be because he fights mainly in Argentina. He stepped out a few times, his best win being Matthew Mac the Knife Macklin.
Yeah.
In which it was a nip-tuck affair until about the second half of the fight, in which Hyland started really putting some pressure on Macklin and landing those good body shots. And that's exactly what he has to do in this fight. He is not going to, for any reason, outbox Jamal Charlo.
Yeah, that's not happening. But to his credit, he does have a very good jab.
He does have a good jab, but it's not a quick jab.
No, his hands are pretty slow, especially when you're looking at like a Canelo, Charlo, shoot even Willie Monroe, shoot even Triple G. I mean, like, he's on the lower end of the speed spectrum.
And being from that southpaw stance, I noticed that he tends to lunge in and get ahead of his feet when he wants to throw those power punches.
And if you saw what Jamal Charlo did to Julian Williams, whose feet did not get away from him, yeah.
Hyland will put up a high guard, but it's not a tight high guard. His elbows are out. He also tends to cross his feet from the outside when he moves to his left.
All this spells big trouble against Jamal Charlo.
If I'm Hyland, I get on the inside, I take a step to the right, try to catch Charlo from an angle, especially with the body, and try to put maybe a left uppercut, overhand left, as much as I can onto Charlo. That's much easier said than done because one, Charlo is freaking huge, even for a middleweight. I believe he's about 6'1". He might even be about 6'2".
Yeah, and his frame is massive. Like, this guy's got big, wide shoulders, and he carries a lot of power in them from the evidence of his knockouts. But he also knows how to work technically. He has a good jab. He has a straight right hand. He has a textbook hook. That spells trouble for Hyland. We've got a powerful guy who's technically sound and is freaking huge, and he's hungry. He wants Triple G or Canelo, and Hyland is just a guy in the way.
Hyland's only chance is to weather some fire from Charlo, try his best to put him up against the ropes, and hit anything on his body. Hell, he might want to do some illegal tactics as well, or borderline illegal tactics. I'm not saying go out there and hit the man in the nuts. But he's got to hit him in the hips. He's got to hit him in the arms, side of the head, whatever is available to hit. He's got to be able to wear him down and keep him subdued and against the ropes.
Right. And that's what people always said when they dealt with someone like Mayweather. You know what I mean? They was like, hey, just hit him anywhere. It doesn't matter what. And those same people were the same people who were crying when Andre Ward did something similar to Sergey Kovalev. So that's neither here nor there. Low blow. Anyway. I don't really see this fight going too long. Like we said, Highland has one slim chance of victory, and I don't see him being able to do that for a long time because, like I said, if you get on the inside, as big and as strong as Charlo is, he probably gets muscled, put out of position, and maybe a straight right hand off an angle. Wow, after he's put out in the perfect position forward and flattened. If he tries to stay on the outside and work his way in behind the jab, which I said was pretty decent, he's got good timing on it, not the most speed. Somebody like Charlo will bait him into throwing that, especially if he gets over his feet, and that right uppercut's coming again.
Look out for that uppercut.
Yeah. They probably got that scouted and ready to go. Main event time. Mikey Garcia, Adrien Broner, 140 pounds. Broner looks focused, finally.
He looks like he's taking the weight off, finally.
Yeah. He's training in Colorado Springs where the U.S. Olympic boxing team is located. So he seems to be taking this serious, as he should, because Mikey Garcia is nobody to play with. And Mikey Garcia is also taking this very seriously. Now, this is not a title fight. I don't even think it's an eliminator. It's just, we got two good guys.
I think they're trying to
fight each other.
There's only two guys that have titles at 140, and they're fighting each other. Thank God, and not that long. I'm sorry, it's not about them, but this is a fight at 140. But I think this is eliminated for at least one or two of those belts.
It's possible. I didn't really look because, I'll be honest with you guys, this fight falls on the same day as John Jones and Daniel Cormier 2. And that's what I'm going to be watching because we've been waiting for years for that one. And I care about that one more. Just throwing it out there. Feel free to watch this one too. Because I will watch it, just not live.
And not to say this isn't a good fight because...
Oh no, it's a very good fight.
Mikey Garcia came back off a 2-year layoff?
Yeah, it was about 2 years.
A 2-year layoff. His first fight back, if I'm not mistaken, was at 140.
It was. He went back down to 135.
And we know being at that one fight at 140, it looked like he can carry the weight, but he might feel more comfortable at 135. And there are challenges at 135.
Yes, there is.
But
we're at 140 right now.
We're at 140. Again, he will probably put on the weight properly. I think he has the frame to carry that weight. Yeah. He's just going against a guy who's used to fighting at that weight or heavier.
Yeah.
But just not as disciplined. Remember, some of these fights that he's fought over 140 have been fights that have been changed to the last minute because his weight has fluctuated, he couldn't make weight, or just a complete lack of discipline, which has wreaked hell on his conditioning.
Yeah. And another thing that's really important about this fight, y'all hear me say this a lot, it's definitely going to be the feet. We haven't seen Adrien Broner really use his feet since he was at like 130. Maybe a couple fights at 35. And Garcia uses his feet very well. He's not twinkle toes in there. He's not looking like Lomachenko, but he knows how to get in position. And he is very efficient with his footwork. There's no extra movement. He's getting to where he needs to be, and that punch is coming. Very fast. Ask Dehanslo teaching it. And I got that right on the first try. But against Broner, he's going against somebody who's probably going to be much bigger than him. And maybe for the first time. So that does play into it because as sharp as Garcia is, as powerful as Garcia is, he's going to be hitting a much bigger guy, which could wear him out as well.
And he's not only fighting a much bigger guy, but he's also fighting a guy with a pretty good chin.
Yes, we've only seen Broner rock against Maidana. He was dropped twice against him. And I think he may have been hurt against the last guy he fought, which was, Granados?
Yeah.
Adrien Granados. And outside of that, I haven't really seen it. But Garcia is the guy that can do it, like I said. Very sharp, very fast, very powerful. Those three spell disaster for most guys. But Adrien Broner has been in there with just about everyone. And he's done fairly well against them. Even in the losses against Maidana and Porter, he was still in the fight late. He hurt both of those guys in the 12th round. So
that's right.
You can't sleep on Broner. I know a lot of people are picking Garcia. I may be picking him too, but it's not going to be an easy fight. Not at all. Even out of shape Broner will still not be an easy fight for Mikey Garcia, because for all of the wasted talent that Adrien Broner has displayed throughout, inside and out the ring, there's still a lot of talent there. So he can get by sometimes half-assing. I mean, that's just pretty much how it is. But he doesn't want to half-ass against somebody like Mikey Garcia, because, like I said, Garcia is probably one of the sharpest people he's fought. He may not be the biggest, he may not be the strongest, but he may be the most accurate, and he probably has, I would say he probably has the best footwork. So this may be up there with those other guys that he fought, say the Porters and the Maidanas. And so we're looking at a competitive fight that I think Garcia can edge out, because he's more accurate, because Adrien Broner can be hit, but because he's a lot bigger and he's tough, I don't see him going anywhere.
And not only that, but his power carries throughout the fight. So,
which is what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out. Like, I want to take Garcia. That is the
sexy pick.
That's the sexy pick. But with Adrien Broner, I kind of want to see how he looks at the weigh-in and see if he's going to be drained or he made the weight properly, because that's going to tell. A lot of guys will just take the penalty or change the weight,
which he's done,
which makes him feel more comfortable. Maybe not as rejuvenated or conditioned, but not as drained. This one, I've seen pictures. It looks like he's making good progress. I just wonder how it's going to affect him when he has to get down to that 140-pound limit.
Another thing to think about is Garcia has been dropped several times.
And I can see Broner dropping Garcia in this fight.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think even if Garcia wins, he's going to have to get off the floor to do it.
That's right.
Because, like I said, the talent is there for Broner. And if he catches you, he can hurt you. Now, he may catch Garcia. And also, Broner's got some pretty fast hands too.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this is going to be a tough fight. But I think Mikey Garcia can pull it out. And it may be a split decision, majority decision. It's going to be a close one. Now, if he goes out there and he blows out Adrien Broner, he's putting a lot of guys on notice. And likewise for Broner, if he can go out there and he can take out Mikey Garcia, I know a lot of guys are going to be like, oh, you know, he was small anyway, as most of the guys that Broner has fought previously. But none of those smaller guys were as skilled as Mikey Garcia. So he should still get credit if he were to win this fight. So that's that. You got anything else?
Nope.
Thanks for watching this, guys. Hope you liked the video. Click the like button if you do. Share it with your friends if you do. If you haven't done so yet, hit the bell button and subscribe right there. Check us out on all our social media platforms. Links are down below. CapitalofCombat everywhere. And we will see you guys. If you don't watch the UFC preview, I didn't want to talk about it, But I sat there and thought about it, and I got some thoughts on those other guys that are fighting in the big fight that's happening in August. So I'll talk about that a little bit. If you don't see those videos, we'll see you in the recap. But if you hit the subscribe button, you can see all of them. So we'll see you there. Until then, fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.